Welcome to Event-Vods. Watch the full game of today's LEC 2025 matchup.
I don't believe a word of what you
Quite
just
an
said.
experience. We're going to be jumping into draft.
We are.
And Azia is going to be taken away from JoJo. Now, when speaking to the American commentators during the World Championship, something they told me that was a common strategy over in North America was target banning JoJo and also just heavily ganking him. And we did see that come to fruition in his second game last week, where they ended up falling short against KC. But I feel as though now that the team's gotten a little bit used to it, they've got more experience on stage, I'm curious as to what they've brought out for us this week as GIANTX, the 3-0 undefeated team, as you highlighted, looking to remove Desira from Alyoya's pool. He's always been known for playing a lot of AP jungle champions. They're going to take that away along with the Kalista from Super. This does mean that Varus, Corki, strong first pick options available.
We also in a bit of a skirmishing meta, and when I also think of Elyoya, I think of things like Xin Zhao that we've seen in the past. So keep that in the back of your mind as we wait for that final ban. Kalista usually banned on the red side. Are they going to take away that Corki that has been in the first couple of rotations already today and is still such a big priority pick in this second patch?
Maokai going to be joining the list. We know here in Europe, Maokai and Sejuani continue to remain at the top of the table when it comes to priority. Yep. Maokai largely because of the flexibility. First pick Cassante for GIANTX.
Lot was great on that, and he's actually only, excuse me, I'm thinking of the other side. It's actually Mirwin who's only played it. Now, as far as I know, Mel is actually a global ban at the moment and not actually enabled, so I got worried. I'm like, hang on a minute, I got told that was not playable.
Bit of a cheeky hover there from Mirwin as they're flexing through their options, but very surprised to see the Cassante first pick. We know that Ambessa can be a pretty solid answer into the matchup, but it does suggest the GIANTX could be thinking about a lane swap. And Hysterics, when we were watching GIANTX play last week, their third game, incredibly well executed lane swap. I feel like that in terms of execution, they've demonstrated one of the cleanest demonstrations of what you could do in the lane swap last week at the very least. And with the Cassante priority, I wonder if they'll look to replicate that as Divine locked in. We've also been seeing that a lot, not just here, but around the world, the ability to lock down. And if they pair that up with the Ambessa, then they'll have a lot of potential lockdown onto the AD camp.
That or a strong mid jungle, let's see. Also the Corki, a side note, a pick that has always been picked in the first couple of rotations. Strongest AD carry right now outside of the Varus, which also I'm going to float over to you, could be a suggestion for GIANTX here
100%.
to give to Noah again.
Certainly could be. I wonder if Ezreal is also something that they're thinking about. We know that Noah is an incredibly proficient Ezreal. We've been seeing it a bunch in the current meta. Against dive compositions, it just has that extra bit of safety. And it also just, as we mentioned, feeds into the comfort that Noah's known for. They can also pair that up with something like the Rel for Jun, something that he's been playing a bunch of. Maybe even Poppy could be a good angle here. There's the ability to flex that Poppy into both jungle and support if they wanted to lock it in early as well. But it depends what their priorities are, because remember that this Corki could always be sent into the mid lane. So maybe Jackies wants to grab something for himself.
So let's see, again, support in question. I like that Betty mentioned the Rel for you all at home. A lot of people are saying that the Alistar is no problem. It can be run into it, but who really cares? As this is another big pick in Europe right now as well. The Sejuani style of compositions are returning once again here with closer by its side.
I mean, GIANTX have gotten a very solid front-to-back option for themselves. Sejuani plus Cassante is so reliable, and with Ezreal on the backline against this dive that very much we were expecting. We talked about the Ambessa. We've already seen a combination of this from Fnatic earlier in the day. The backline dive threat that this combination has is lethal.
And Betty, I was going to ask you, I mean, again, Ambessa can also go into the mid lane as well. Corki can go AD, can also go mid. So right now, Koi are also playing with a bit of flexibility in their draft as they take away the Yone here, which could pair nicely, thanks to Jackie's who's already picked it up before.
Taking away the Yone heavily suggests to me that they are thinking about a Corki mid on the side of Koi.
Great suggestion.
Kai'Sa being removed is something that you would often see as an answer into Ezreal because of the scaling. And both sides suggesting heavily that this Corki is definitely going mid and this bot lane is yet to be locked in for Koi. I'm curious as to what direction they go, and Varus would be the likely option unless GIANTX look to try and remove that from the pool.
Does that suggest Alistar on 4 here?
Could very well do. Yeah, you're completely right. Sylas would have a lot of great ultimates to steal on the side of Koi. And Jackie's, we know him as a playmaker, right? He loves to play these style of champions that give him a lot of individual agency. Not that he's deliberately avoiding the mages or anything. We've seen him bring out the Victor already this split, but Yone and Sylas definitely fit into his pool. As the Orianna ban suggests that GIANTX still not entirely sure where this Corki's going to go, but with the cheeky hover of 80 carries coming out from Super, definitely leaning towards that mid lane role.
If this does get locked in again, yeah, it confirms what the band's set up to do. Something that we've been harping on for the past couple of minutes as well. Let's just see. But no, it's a bit of a ruse. They just get rid of a good pairing with Sejuani. They get a good pairing themselves of the mid-jungle now locked in.
I mean, it's a very powerful mid-jungle. Very effective as well against some of the dashes come through. They're very much expecting the Rel. I wonder if they do pivot to the Leona to have a slightly easier time. We talked about the Poppy earlier as well.
Yep.
They're considering all of their options right now, and they're going to be locking that one in. I think it is a great response to the Vi and the Ambessa, who just have so much mobility. I wonder what they're going to lock in finally for their mid lane. It's going to be the Akali. I'm really excited to see this. I'm a big fan of the champion on the current patch. It pairs up nicely with Sejuani.
Yep.
Melee synergizes with the passive that Sejuani provides. Easy potential setup. Also, nice diving when you've got Poppy wanting to dive in, Cassante wanting to dive in, Sejuani wanting to dive in. Akali loves it when she has champions that can play with her. Mira on the side of Koi, they've got a lot of pick.
Yep.
A lot of single target damage, the ability to lock someone down and obliterate them from the fight. It's going to be difficult for Akali to necessarily execute when playing up against this Talia and the amount of chain CC, but the question is, do you want to invest it on that Akali in contrast to the Ezreal, who's going to be sitting on the back line and dishing out damage?
And you know what excites me the most about this is actually support jungle pairings in this game as well, because Braum mixed with Vi, Sejuani mixed with Poppy as well. I feel like Jun and Alvaro are big highlights coming into this game. Vedis is smiling because he knew we were going to talk about Jun on the other side going in. Is there any trash talk? We getting any? Do you
Without
have good
hesitation.
DPI?
Yeah, no one said the first thing. Do you have
I
good
needed to
DPI?
know.
That's funny.
Is that Jojo replying, hopefully? Yes, indeed.
The good luck, have funs have come through.
Welcome. Side note, GIANTX undefeated, as you can see on the top of your screen. This is a big matchup considering that GX just recently came through SK Rogue, and people are saying, yeah, that's not a hard strength to schedule, but they beat down KC, and that was their first real test to show that they deserve to be at the top of the table.
And remember that in this format, the best of one stage is somewhat ruthless.
Oh, yeah.
And losing early can add a lot of stress and pressure, but winning early can do you wonders.
Yep.
5 wins locks you a spot in playoffs. 4 wins almost guarantees it. And so GIANTX putting themselves at a 3-0 spot with 6 games left to play, they're primed and poised to be one of the teams securing that playoff spot. Still a lot of games still left to be played, but I think to the surprise of many, seeing GIANTX come out the gate swinging like they did in week 1.
Now, I want to quickly rise and talk about Jun. I think the best support of week number 1, and a reason why I was getting excited for support and jungle coming into this opening game. Well, it's game 1 for us. Game 3, of course, for everyone in the day. And Jun coming in on this Poppy with Halo, Blades, and Ignite. I'm really looking forward to what he can set up with Closer in this game when Jun's engages were just so clean, as you expected on him in Fnatic last year.
I think that he was just so impressive in the first week. The way that he was able to find so many successful engages, his ability to turn games around as well, were just phenomenal. And I think for many fans of this bot lane, to see them start off the beginning of winter with so much success was an absolute joy to see. One of the crucial things, notice that bot lane proximity at 8 minutes.
Yeah.
That is low. My man is roaming a lot. A part of that is because the team is lane swapping as well.
Yep.
But he just likes to be active on the map. And when we were going back through VODs, we noticed how well he was working with Closer to make things happen on the map.
It really was. And again, Closer coming into this roster after his year or end of year in KC, and it's just fitting together. I think it's something that either Nymera or Finn said on desk, sorry for the paraphrase of a quote, is that this roster is just kind of come together in pieces and looks so damn good. Now, looking at this game and bringing everyone into the forefront, no lane swap. Yippee, that's great. You know, we're getting sick of lane swaps, and I especially am. So we get pretty standard lanes here for one of the first times, or at least for a consistent time. This top lane right now looking pretty good, and bot in the 2v2, pretty standardized so far.
We didn't talk much about it, but the Braum lock-in for MKoi at the end of their draft, I think is great into a composition that loves to really get in your face. So many melees as well as Jim knocks back Alvaro here.
Yeah, Winter's Bite sets up for concussive blows. Noah actually Valkyried in, excuse me, that was Super. Noah's the one who takes it in the end as another concussive blow set goes through.
Remember that Noah running the TP doesn't have the defensive summoner spell, but should be able to rejoin the bot lane should any poor trades come through.
Boy, good lacerate there from Mirwin. Maximum damage out, and lot takes a lot.
Yeah, I was speaking to Finn about this matchup earlier, and it can definitely be quite challenging for the Cassandra. You've very much got to play around the cooldowns of this Ambessa, and it's why many top laners like picking it into the matchup. The top jungle duo as well of Vi and Ambessa just has so much lockdown and so much damage. Once they hit level 6, it is lethal.
They're just talking about it on the desk, right? Like, it's so broken because you guarantee the setup for Ambessa, which is a very thin line on that public execution, which otherwise can whiff quite easily.
They can. So, in the meanwhile, the top side of the map going in favor of Mirwin, but credit to Lot. He's going to be keeping up in farm. In fact, he's going to get ahead, assuming he can get a few of these CS underneath the tower. He will lose a few, but he's not going to be too upset about that. We take a look in the mid lane as well. We're seeing a lot more electrocute Akalis. I'm a big fan. I think that going the electrocute into the storm surge gives so much burst that a lot of people still just aren't used to from the champion, and she becomes a menace when it comes to just executing a single target. But in the early laning phase, it's going to be rough. Talia has so much more wave clear, she has a lot of poke, and you can already see that CS starting to mount in favor of Jojo.
Jojo just forcing Jackie's back. He has TP, so there's no problem. Jojo's already used his as well, so that's why it looks like there's a slight advantage in the lane. And Scrub spawning in a minute, Dragons already spawned. Now, side note for everyone out there, if you are just tuning into the new patch, reminder, First Blood is no longer part of the feats. It's 3 kills, the first 3, to be specific as well. That's one of the taglines.
And also remember, if you've been a long-time LEC viewer, we are now playing on the live patch.
Yep.
Right, which, I mean, I'm still getting used to. Typically, we would be a patch behind, but now you get to see basically the pros playing what you get to play at home as well. A very cool change, and these first 3 kills are going to be extremely important. We'll see where they fall, as for the time being, nothing too crazy has happened. Both junglers just been prioritizing clearing, providing cover, but there could be an opportunity here in the top lane.
It's only level 5, but it doesn't matter because public execution lands onto Lot. He puts his all out down and tries to get out, flashes away. A good lacerate to get that Drakehound step. But the Drake is now out. It's Lot who runs back with his flash in tow.
Eldoria spending a lot of time hovering around the top side of the map, trying to keep this pressure down onto Lot. He's already invested the TP, but mainly it's as an opportunity to set up for the Grubs. Jojo getting a quick base through means that it's actually the Akali that has the priority in mid lane. Eldoria alone, but he does steal one away, and he should be happy with that.
I mean, if he gets out, he will, because perfect execution is so easy. Eldoria used his escape tool in. 1 grub for the steal for First Blood. Let's question if that's worth with Jackie's now ahead.
I mean, it's a debate, right? Because obviously the First Blood doesn't give you the feats of strength. It's the first 3 kills, but giving that kill over to an Akali early on is a very dangerous thing to do, because the early laning phase is where you want to punish her the most, where she's the most susceptible to potentially being dived due to getting poked out in the matchup, and is where she has the least amount of damage. So handing that kill over could be detrimental. Jackie's starting off the game strong. The good news is, at the very least, Eldoria steals away a Grub.
Because I think Jackie's started off the split strong. I feel like Jackie's and Noah have been, my 2 rising stars. Obviously, they're the carries, but, Jackie's someone we criticized a lot last year, getting caught out in the mid game. He was a bit of a detriment to GIANTX as well in his debut year, but with a really good start to winter, it is nice to see this Akali in a leading spot. Hextech Alternator is the starting pick-off, by the way, while Jojo went back for a tier, and Lucid Boots, while Koya now back on the map, looking towards this dragon.
I think that Jackie's, as you rightly said... Ooh, hang on a second, Jern.
Is Jung going to be the one caught out? Let's see. W reaction time would be good. Elyoya's on him. Pops the ulti anyway, and in he goes. Deep is the enemy jungle for Koi, but they don't care. Concussive blows set up the ulti from closer. They're bringing in Jackie's again. It's already a quick trade. A 1-for-1, but look at the health bars. Jackie's just cleaving around the fight. A permafrost, a concussive blow down again, and Jackie's will be dropping to super. There's a shutdown. A 2-for-2 as Noah now joins in, but doesn't want to take the play.
Alvaro getting relatively low. He connects the Q onto Noah, and that's going to force him to arcane shift away to safety. As you rightly said, a play that was initiated by MKoi ends up being a 2-for-2, but crucially, Jackie's got 2 kills in that exchange. This Akali is now 3-1-0, and it starts off with them trying to catch out Jun. Notice that the wave hasn't been pushed in yet from mid lane, so it's easy for the Akali to collapse. There is a health advantage, but a lot of space is bought thanks to the flash coming through from Jun. Then Closer comes over the wall to provide additional peel. That initial 1-for-1 is a nice start, but Super is the one that arrives early. The Ezreal comes through, but it doesn't really connect onto anyone. And Akali, thanks to the Shroud, was left largely untouched in the skirmish, but then once it ran out, Super was at the very least able to get the kill back, and that shutdown is better than nothing.
A quick reminder for you at the bottom again. Aether Wisp also picked up for Jackie's in that last play too. So, yeah, getting really close to the first item. And Vedius, our resident Akali main right now, grinning a little bit here with the early gamers.
I mean, he's going to get Storm Surge very soon.
Oh, yeah.
900 gold is the combination cost with these two components. And Merc Treads on the horizon as well.
Yep.
Once you get Merc Treads plus Storm Surge, with the Electrocute early on, it's a lot of damage.
Yep.
And again, like we saw last week, Kalist didn't expect the damage. And it's something, it's something that that can be very scary to do. And now Jojo roaming top, has the ulti, no flash available on Lot, but he does have the ulti available himself. Respecting the potential of the roam. Lot, again, demonstrating great awareness on the top side of the map. He was someone that impressed us in week 1, and with so much pressure being thrown towards him with very little jungle support himself, he's managing the pressure well.
And he's managing it well when he's got a plethora on the champion pool. Jack's Rumble was the first week, by the way. Is I think more important to note, Elyoya is on the bottom side of the map now.
Good ulti there from Noah, thinning out the wave as much as he can, recognizing that they are on the weak side. The threat of a dive is real. Elyoya can't really look to pull it off. He's primarily there to act as cover so that Super and Alvaro can get that push in, and the resets come through. Itemization not yet completed for anyone. A few components getting completed, but now the swap is going to come through from MKoi. They know that the grubs are spawning in about 35 seconds. Jojo has the TP available, and they're going to be slightly ahead of GIANTX in the play just because Jackie's hasn't had an opportunity to reset. I wonder if he wanted to catch that extra wave so that he could base for the Merc Treads as well as the Storm Surge. We'll see when he gets back.
One.
All right, he's just going to get the Storm Surge, which is still fine. Good upgrade to have. Plate secured for Jojo again because he was slightly ahead of the play in terms of their resets. But now MKoi matching the bot lane of GIANTX in the mids, ready to contest for this next grub spawn.
You see the power of Corki right now. The wave clear once he hits 6 is just so immense, even with Jashin as well as the Phage. Super as he clears out the wave and they move first. Koi get a bit of vision in, but see Closer in vision at the time being. Control ward down, and after they clear that, they regain control.
Reset comes through from Jojo, wanting to replenish his mana. Maybe he can get an item upgrades. Will he have enough gold?
Lost chapter.
Going to be the lost chapter. Not quite a fully completed item, but he wasn't gifted 3 kills in the early game. So once again, mid-wave pushed in. MKoi playing around that priority well. Top side of the map going in favor of Mirwin 2. It's actually going to be the one to start off the grubs. It will be MKoi. Elyoya tanking that up for now, and this is where the dance begins.
Elyoya's getting a little bit low. Gets a little bit of shielding coming through from the E, but the poke begins as Super. Going to take some himself. The engage being built up. Jun also has the disengage here as teleport from GIANTX will make this into a full-blown fight. The top laners are battling it out, as you can see, and GIANTX have just brute forced off it, especially since Lot is taking on Mirwin. In a 1-for-1, he flashes, and Mirwin has to burn his own. Lot again continuing to impress as Jun is getting in the way. The flash shove ignite. Jun, you nasty devil, making sure it's light work.
A cheeky play there from Jun. Mirwin was not expecting the flank to come through. He will lose his life, and the grubs will be conceded. I think Koi said, you know, we can't afford to fight this Akali right now. We have to recognize that we're weaker. We got 1 grub, so we'll deny them the full set, which means that that feat of strength will not be a contributor. But they also got the TP out from Jackie's, and now there is that advantage from Jojo. This could be huge when setting up for things like the next dragon or just playing to the sidelines. And as I say that, Jojo immediately uses it to the top side of the map to catch that wave, given that it was fully stacked and underneath the tower, they didn't want it to go to waste. So no TP advantage anymore.
No.
I feel like that must conclude that MKoi is saying, you know what, we just weren't strong enough to take that fight. We'll be happy with 1 grub for now.
Nothing to fight for until minute 30 anyway. We've got Dragon coming up, number 2 here. That will spawn the Hextech Drake, and we're impressed. So far, the early game of GIANTX, once again, it feels like it's a trend now. Jun is everywhere. And I feel like I said this on his Rel games, Vedius. I feel like I said this on his other Poppy game as well. Jun is just controlling the map, and him and Closer, the sync up here is what makes me like this new GIANTX a lot, with how cohesive they are as a unit in the first 15-20 minutes of the game.
I mean, it's a awkward game state for Koi because
is.
they have to be very cautious of Jackies moving forward. When they kind of take up the straight 4 versus 4, you could see how even it was. MKoi had the vision control around the top side of the river, the Corki has greater push in the mid lane, and they also can match the poke this early on because Ezreal isn't as scary until you've got a few of those items underneath your belt. But then the moment Akali TP's in, we got to back off, guys. We got to disengage, we got to get away. And bear in mind, they're not running the exhaust either on the Braum, so there's no way really to lock her down unless they can connect things like the Talia E or the Braum Q, or like unless they really fully commit the Vi ult and the Ambessa ult, right? We'll see how things progress. It's now 20 seconds until the Dragon spawn. We return to a similar position. Quick reset comes through from Jojo. He's going to get his first item. And, mid-wave push once again for Koi. Very similar pattern to what we saw around the Grubs. First on the objective will be Koi. Elyoya looking to start this one off, as Jackies actually has an avenue on the bot side of the map, given that he will get access to that bot wave first.
That push and level 11 as well, so second part of the ultimate that comes in. As Jackies replenishes his energy, GIANTX are looking to collapse and sandwich down. With those teleports not yet channeled, Dragon still goes down over to Koi. The ulti misses from Jun, and they target the Akali. Straight in with the ulti to flash away. The Shuriken Flip now expiring as well. Elyoya wants to get out of there, so he's bypassed, or at least bypasses as Alvaro has to flash. Narrowly averting Crisis, but the Dragon's still secured.
I mean, well played there by Koi. They handled the Akali very well. They quickly took the Dragon. They were able to disengage. It cost them the summoners on Alvaro, but they got the flash out from Jackies too. And ultimately, they walk away with a clean objective. Advantage gained for Koi.
It's something, especially when you said this early game was a lot of fear factor rising because of that mid laner especially. They do get a summoner out of Jackies, which might quell some of that beast for the next couple of minutes.
Jun on the roam once more. Sets his sights on the top lane. Question mark ping comes down. Probably asking, is his flash up? They should know that it's not. Nguyen, though, has that ward of safety. Lot is very low. I think Jun's priority is mainly just to help Lot, as Alvaro looks to try and match.
Not too far forward, even closer thinking about jumping in. Note that Herald's spawning in about 30 seconds, so top side of the map becomes ever so precious. So you're just going to back away, and looks like he's just going to go for his Merc Tread, so he has that for what seems to be the upcoming fight for top. I mean, Herald these days just always fought over. Like,
already a big fan of the introduction of these new objectives. I know for solo queue it can feel overwhelming and stressful, but for pro play, chaining objective into objective, it feels like the pros always have things to focus on and think about.
True.
And both these teams feel very locked in around these objectives. I'm very much expecting the voracious Atakan the GAs, to the surprise of many, I would say.
Every day. Will we ever get Ruinous? What a question. This is a setup from Koi, and they actually found Jun. The wall's up. Jun gets poked down to oblivion. In goes Noah into melee range, but he's doing good poke while Jackies gets taken down by Jojo. Big move from Koi. As now with the Weaver's wall out, Noah's still the target. The poke still ranging out, and Noah ends up being the double. Koi with a swift move, taking that play into their hands.
Beautifully executed by Koi. They turn their attention onto Jun, knowing how squishy he is in the early game. And then the turn onto Jackies was just as quick, committing the Vi ultimate, following up with Jojo. This is the lockdown potential of this Talia and Vi. And they just eliminate Jackies before he even has an opportunity to play.
Herald's such a big tempo lead as GIANTX trying to get the remnants of the members. It's only Alvaro. He'll be able to stand behind someone shortly, but the W stops him until now. Gets over the wall, gets out, and, you know, first turret still not claimed, but a Herald to do that for Koi now in this game. Well, or bot.
We turn our attention back to the fight. Again, they turn their attention onto Jun, knowing they have the numbers advantage. 4 people here. And look, and a nice block as well from Alvaro onto Noah's ultimate. But look at the lockdown here. The chain CC is just flawless. Jackies doesn't get an opportunity to move, and now the GIANTX are split up. They look to chase down Noah, who doesn't have anything left. He lost his flash earlier. Jojo secures a double, and now the threat of the Akali quickly diminishes as Jojo quickly rises in
You know,
power.
because I saw the TP, and then I didn't actually get to see his health bar because there's so many red bars around it. It was a sandwich, and Jackies, unfortunately, was that topping that's gone off. I don't know where to go with it, but that's why.
I mean, it's a situation where You can use the lockdown to gain access onto the back line, or you can use the lockdown to prevent the Akali from playing the game. And there are pros and cons to both, right? Because you can throw everything in the kitchen sink to kill the Akali.
True.
But then Ezreal is left untouched, and you're kind of out of tools then to actually lock the Ezreal down later on into the fight. But if you then commit everything onto the Ezreal, are you going to have enough to keep your Corki alive? The risks of Akali aiming free access.
Too many
and
questions.
this is the choice that MKOI will have to make. But in a situation like that, they didn't have to choose at all.
No.
They just hit the target that was in front of them. They one-shot them, and they got the Herald.
Nicer when it's a little bit simpler and you can just turn your brain off, you know?
And I'm excited to see what future decisions they make, because GIANTX's comp is very much about playing front to back and dive, Akali creating a lot of chaos, but mainly allowing Noah the freedom to play around his front line, and he's got a lot of it, right? Poppy also being very obnoxious for things like a Vi and the Ambessa to play. GIANTX have a solid composition to be playing around these objectives, and I think Koi want to leverage the rotations to catch people off guard ahead of these objectives. Finding a pick, finding good chunk damage ahead of the major objectives are the best way to set themselves up for success around these neutrals.
Like something in front of this Dragon now. 30 seconds till Infernal spawns. That'll be the soul of this game. Closer is face checking. You were just talking about it. If Closer walks in, Koi are ready to snap him shut and secure that objective even more so.
You're noticing how well Koi is playing around the pressure that they have, because Super just has so much wave clear. Every time we turn our attention to mid, it's Super that's pushing that one in, and then Elyoya moving into Fog of War, an area that he and Alvaro have already swept for vision, and it's forcing this darkness to appear on the map. The GIANTX have to face check, and as you rightly said, it becomes a very scary place to check.
Almost stopping the backup while GIANTX commit to this top turret. Looks like they're just going to be trading sides of the map while second Dragon for Koi. And what I've noticed after that last play too is the fact that, you know, that mid that was so far ahead, good try, good attempt here from Noah, is now in JoJo's favor. And remember, Jackie's got those 3 kills so early on that it was almost a 1k gold lead. The fact that it's flipped is a testament to how Koi have played their draft, how they've found their picks in this game. That felt like it was starting to run out of hand.
Seraph's also going to provide a hefty shield.
Oh,
to help mitigate that kill threat that Jackies would have. You'll see the matchups right now. They've actually moved Jackies over towards Mirwin on the top side of the map. The shielding is going to help a lot when it comes to those short trades that Akali's looking to try and take. But ultimately, MKOI is very happy with how the game is playing out right now. Good pressure along the side lanes. Jackies, you can see, like, the trades aren't easy against a bruiser on the side lane. And this is making it harder for GIANTX to gain access into the river. You see wards, control wards littered throughout the map in favor of MKOI. And what was a scary start has been a very controlled and steady game that has been well played by Koi so far.
And I see Super as well with the 1k gold lead. I mean, you talk about controlled. I see a Corki that is consistently prioritized in drafts for good reason. This champ is just so strong at the moment. The range is going to start coming into foray as well. So forget the Ezreal. Start thinking about the guy in a flying pirate ship. As for Koi, they're sitting around Atakan. 21 minutes into the game, Baron's not spawned in conjunction with it, but they're trying to control this river as GIANTX edge a little bit closer towards us. Lot, you said, is coming in closer, flash in with his ulti, and I just talked about how big Super is. Alvaro blocking in front of his AD carry because he had to. Jun sends him against the wall, but is it too far? Elyoya popped away. No! The backline was, so for GIANTX, now they've got to win this fight. The all-out from Lot takes Mirwin, who goes too far. I think he's going to dismay them further, but Lot has to clean up in the backside. Jackie's rather to do that on Alvaro. The Storm Surge was close. So for GIANTX, it looked messy, but it was only a 1-for-1.
Yeah, I'm surprised that ended up being only a 1-for-1. The rest of Koi were able to collapse quickly enough to make it harder for GIANTX to find that pick. What's crazy is Super didn't even use any summoners in that collapse. He just reacted to the Sejuani ultimate with his W and was able to create enough space thanks to Alvaro providing the protection that he needed. Blocking Lot, preventing him from locking him down, and creating enough space that gave Super the freedom to get out of harm's way.
I mean, again, that was a little bit sketchy because for GIANTX, it looked like such a pick, such a poppy ult. But Koi survive a long time. So for GIANTX, only a 1-for-1 after using 1, 2, 3, 4 ultimates, a couple of summoners in harm's way as well. For Koi, let's see what they can do with the Herald here, and then abuse some of those cooldowns.
Some strength, of course, is secured by Koi. You can see the boots upgrade actually coming through from JoJo. They're trying to escort the Herald into the mid lane.
They are.
I think they're going to get it in range. That they will. That's going to be a tower secured.
Oh, seismic shove close. The turret's down now. Elyoya thinking about going in.
I think it would be a little too ambitious to make that play. You'd be going way too deep, especially given the positioning of Mirwin there. Look again how they control the Fog of War, looking for picks, trying to poke away at GIANTX. GIANTX's engage is not the easiest. They're very reliant on Closer to provide that ultimate CC or lock to find a flank. If you're just standing in a lane like this, the poke advantage that Koi has is going to slowly chip away at you.
Like that, right? All it takes is the pick that you've been talking about all game long. Seismic Shock dodge narrowly again, GIANTX in a choke, but Koi are hiding in fog of war in different angles. Jun goes first. Jackies is not going to step in there by himself. Lot has to be careful. Mirwin runs up. GIANTX run back.
It's a tense affair because right now the only objective to play for on the map is Atakan, and I would say that Koi is spending a lot of time just pushing in mid-wave, not really converting it into anything. They'd love to reset, replenish some of their wards, probably spend some of the gold that they're likely sitting on.
See him.
But the problem with conceding that is this mid tower is still available, and GIANTX have set their sights on it. The reset has come through from Noah as well.
I love it. We've got so many objectives. Teams are like, you know what, we need to fight here because then we can go wherever we want. It's like an all-access pass to Disneyland. Who's going to get it first? El Yoya thinking about his ulti, but it's on to Jun. Meanwhile, ulti goes far from closer. He's dead first. Alvaro's blocked the damage. He flashes, but then dies too, while GIANTX have unleashed their mid laner. A shutdown onto Jojo. And when the fight's scattered like this, Vedius, Koi don't track Jackies, and Jackies knows what to do.
I think Koi just overstayed their welcome. They needed to get back to base. They needed to reset, and GIANTX were able to, I guess, punish the indecisiveness from Koi as they try to maintain control over the mid lane wave. You can see GIANTX kind of shepherding Koi towards the top side of the map, and then Koi said, you know what, let's just engage. Closer is low enough. They split the map on two fronts. Jun disengages. Closer on the front line does get melted, but the damage done to Alvaro is enough, and a good ulti onto Elyoya removes him from the fight, guaranteeing GIANTX numbers advantage, even though they ended up losing a member. They find 2 kills, again, both go on to Jackies.
Love the GIANTX watch party. Popping off. We need more drums in the studio videos. Gonna pass
Please,
that
no
on.
more drums. There were so many in Munich. They were so loud.
That was so good. What do you mean? Yeah, the bass drums go hard. So we're going to work on that.
That is their purpose, yes.
Yes, we're going to work on that next week, I think. Are we allowed drums?
I'm banning you from ever touching a drum kit.
Excuse me. You forgot to debut my secession to the LEC ban.
Okay. Well, moving on swiftly before
what?
you can pursue that any further.
That's a shame.
Notice that Mirwin is going to push in the bot wave, rotate up to mid. They're looking for a potential flank angle, but there's no one there to flank. It's an easy push coming out for Koi as GIANTX is now the one being shepherded towards the top side of the map. They do have decent vision on the top river, but there's no one ready to catch this wave. Lot is going to be forced to come up and catch it. Akali continues to push in that top tower, but notice, we haven't talked about it, no outer towers have fallen for Koi.
Onto Noah, pulls that cease and desist, but he arcane shifts away from the flashback from Jojo Pyun. GIANTX have gotten out, now they're playing their own version of front to back as Jackie's about to come in. Watch the Akali with flash and ulti available and a shuriken flip to help Noah secure the kill. Alvaro was the front line, but now he's dead.
A bit of an overforce on the dive. They thought that they had caught Noah out, but the idea is Vi plus Ambessa, but Ambessa wasn't there. There was no reliable follow-up, which means that Noah was able to just arcane shift away to safety.
And now they're on the wrong side of Summoner's Rift. Koi have just walked into the trap. But Jackie's now, as he walks towards Super, knows that he can pick the angle. Lot running in first, he flashes, he slows, and Super's just gonna die, but to who? It's Jun in the end as Koi are making mistake after mistake, and GIANTX are just picking apart the pieces at the seams. No one's gonna take the rest of the right side here, while the left burns, but look at him go! The new 80 carry of GIANTX is roaring into fire, ready for that 4-0.
A single overforce from Koi turns to disaster as GIANTX keep all 5 members alive and will even convert it into a Baron. I think they even have enough time to get an Atakan to boot, so with a Baron buff plus the GA from Atakan, this feels like that this game may as well be called done.
It really should be, shouldn't it? I mean, a couple of good moments from Koi, but the last couple of fights, the last couple of picks, this GIANTX roster has made Koi dizzy. And even though they're going to try and get towards this Atakan, it's going to be dead before they resurface. Teleport being used towards bot. The best Movistar Koi can get right now is that third Drake.
Used a lot of their tools to try and lock Noah down, but we talked about the risk of leaving the Akali unattended, and you'll see, look at the minimap here. Ambessa is nowhere near the team. He's actually hovering around the Raptors, debating if he should even be with them. Then they collapse onto the Ezreal. A good ulti onto the backline from Closer stops Jojo from being able to follow up. And bear in mind, Akali hasn't joined the fight yet. So once Alvaro gets taken out due to the damage from Noah, now it turns into a 4v5. And why shouldn't GIANTX be confident about forcing this fight? They know they have the numbers advantage. MKOI have just used a bunch of their tools to try and find a pick. Super forced to flash. And now they were able to win out on the fight, and they set their sights on the Nexus of Koi.
And with this Red Bull Baron power play, it's just going to begin here, maybe even end through mid. Close is going to withdraw, but remember, Artican buffs, so they're going balls to the wall, all free for all. GIANTX withdraw after withdraw, but that's one kill. And even though Koi are getting 200 gold a pop, look at the damage being done. They still get one in the bag, and Lot in the end going to try and make it two, but Artican used to open up mid.
I mean, overall, a well-played fight from Koi because they ended up only losing a single member. And the worst-case scenario is you lose 2, maybe 3 members, and then, of course, GIANTX are already back out onto the map, looking to put some pressure down. They still have the Baron buff. They're going to continue their siege without hesitation as Koi quickly tries to get a reset through, and the bot tier 1 falls.
Just remember, Baron maintains even if you withdraw, so as bot falls down, some of the standing gold now given over to GIANTX, 2,500 Baron power play. And it looks to be the next play as Jackies are just shepherding mid. Now the level 16 Akali feels untouchable with Zhonya's and that much harder to respond to.
Yeah, I mean, the dive from GIANTX is now that much scarier, right? You've got 3 fully completed items on Lot. He's incredibly tanky. Second item finished for Closer. And this Poppy ultimate as well. We didn't really talk about it much in the draft, but you're seeing how impactful it is in so many of these fights to quickly create a numbers advantage in the fights. GIANTX playing the 4-1, leveraging the power of the Baron.
I love Baron.
The Baron utilizing the cannon is what I meant to say.
So wait, hang on. A cannon with Baron is a Bannon.
Yes, it is.
Thaddeus Andrew Day.
It used to be that as well when we had Banner of Command, and you'd use it.
You called it a Bannon, did you?
Well, no, because that would be weird, but a cool name in hindsight.
It is a cool name.
Jackie's
you don't normally do cool things.
Chunked heavily. I think he might be dead.
Yeah, let's ask, because he saw Zhonya's. Yes, he does, but he's at 1 HP. Ooh. Perfect execution. Thaddeus, that's why you never say never. Justin Bieber taught me that. What is it? What is it? Something about the Bannon again?
I wasn't expecting that.
I don't like the music, but I like the life lessons.
I mean, the good news from Koi is that they're able to stem the siege. The tier 2 towers remain alive for now. And Mirwin is able to force Jackie's back. He didn't end up burning his flash. But now this is MKOI's opportunity to find another way back into this game. Of course, their lockdown, the Vi and Bessa combo is still there. We haven't seen it utilized yet in this game, but Fnatic leveraged that combination to be able to find a pick in their previous game of the day and turn the game around entirely. So we'll see if Koi can do the same today, as a 3k gold deficit is scary, but it's not insurmountable.
No. I think what is kind of scary is if GIANTX give over the last dragon, that would be something that Koi would start flipping around, especially with Talia burst, Corki burst as well. I'm a little bit worried here though, because even as Knight's Vows picked up there, almost lost the name from Alvaro, that he gives to Super. This game so far, Jackie's has started to run amok in the back line. Noah as well with his volatility, versatility, and mobility. Just like long words, Thaddeus. He's able to threaten that as well. So next objective, Baron, minute 30. Dragon lines up with that timer as well. And remember, GIANTX can't afford to give Koi that infernal soul here in this game, because that's when that turning point starts to rear its head again.
Playing with confidence. I've been seeing a lot of great Ezreals this week.
Yeah, you were highlighting Smash backstage.
Super impressive Ezreal performance. Would highly recommend people check that game out.
You said it was one of the best you've seen. You've watched
genuinely,
Ruler and...
it's one of the best Ezreals I think I've ever seen. He was just playing with such crazy confidence.
Yeah.
And his Qs, they looked like they were targeted, man. Like it was disgusting. Now they're doing a great job in this game. 4-1 and 3 scoreline, working with Closer. It's crucial here that Closer's playing with him to provide that peel.
True.
Because remember that MKOI, they have such great dive that there's a world where Elyoya could come out of the brush at any moment, throw out that ulti, Mirwin quick to follow. So it's crucial that Closer and Jun are just in the area for Noah to provide that poke down, and he has that extra bit of protection with him. Now the fight for the mid-wave control comes through.
Yep.
Damage on the Closer though.
Remember, it won't matter too much. It takes a little bit more to get through as Gristle and Sedge just hold their ground. For GIANTX, They're on the Dragon side of the map. That's spawning in 3 seconds. They're where they want to be, but look at the mid-wave. Jojo, he has inside access. GIANTX are being stretched for time here. Very smart from the mid laner of Koi as closest ult does not connect. So there is a Glacial Prison and a Tomb now down in Gloom. GIANTX against the wall. Flash, it's a double, but they're against it and in a hard spot. GIANTX, 5 members, shifting gears now. That mid-wave gonna be an issue again from Jojo, and Koya playing with the push and pull quite well.
Yeah, a great call out there by Hysterics. Is
That's me.
The amount of pressure that's being put onto GIANTX right now is a very difficult thing to manage. The Baron is alive as well, but GIANTX, they can't afford to concede control. Eljoya looking for Noah.
They want to play with numbers because Jackie's had to go and get the wave. Now that he's back, though, things become precarious. Jackie's thinking about an angle in.
Sejuani ultimate still on cooldown, though.
They found him, though, and going golden, he buys a bit of time, but a Shuriken flip out is the question. He flashes instead. So, flash from the mid lane carry is big, as the Puppy ult was also used by Jun to disengage Jojo and Alvaro.
Eljoya's ultimate being down, though, is crucial for the lockdown potential that MKOI offer. Lock quickly,
Jun?
looking to go back.
Okay, waiting for that shove to be more impactful, but GIANTX not going to fully commit. Both teams on an edge here as teleport's going to be used.
Oh, the Dragon going to be started off. That's melting pretty quickly. Koi setting up to get themselves the Soul.
True Shot Barrage isn't bad. Lot's going to frontline this, but Soul will just be taking TP in the back as Infernal might just be given over. A big steal needed from close, but he doesn't get it. Infernal Soul for Koi is bonus stats for the fight, but now up against the wall. A Glacial Prison is on the straight. Jun is there. They can't escape, but their health is okay. Infernal Soul's done a bit of work as Mirwin now runs out to the charge, and Lot is dead. Jackie gets to the back line. He's got Permafrost. He misses the Shuriken flip, jumps into his shroud, gets out the perfect execution, but you can see that Noah is the only one alive for good reason. He's done the damage, he's done the poke, but Koi have won the fight so far. Eljoya with a Vault Breaker, flash away by Noah. Poke still there, range is good. Jackie's hits nothing but the Shuriken flip. He will not return. Koi are still in this game, and now they've got the pain of the Infernal Soul.
An exceptional dance from Koi as they're able to secure the Soul and win out the fight. You look at the coordination, the TP comes through from Jackie's trying to get a flank angle, but too much time is spent. They can't get inside the pit. They're zoned away, and it's secured by Koi. Alvaro blocks a lot of damage. Jackie's is looking for a good angle, but the Earth is making it so difficult for Jackie's to really get involved in the fight, so they're just playing the front to back. They're leveraging their range. They take out the front liner first. Jun can't really commit to the fight. Noah and Mirwin end up in an exchange on the side, and while Mirwin does fall, the damage has already been done. 3 members survive on the side of Koi, and the Soul is secure.
And even though Jackie's has 2.5k gold lead, as you said, the Unraveled Earth, Jojo Pyun in the fight, is becoming hard to navigate. Koi are fighting so hard for this game. GIANTX might be undefeated, but remember that Koi were favorites coming out of week 1 despite their loss to KC in the end. This team that people are getting excited about, let me just tell you, not too bad of a showing here today despite getting picked off in a couple of those fights. It's 35 minutes into the game. Baron's now spawned, and they like their 5v5 as Eljoya is the first target. Closer gets a good ulti, though, onto Super in the backline, and everyone's running in. GIANTX getting frontline, though, and Super is tearing them to pieces. Jojo did a bit of work there. Public execution fails from Mirwin, but Koi had the leg up. No enemy jungler.
The follow-up just didn't come through. Closer got focused down quickly by Koi, and with this frontliner gone, no smite is available, and Koi turn their attention to the Baron.
It's going to go down pretty quick. Noah has to 4v5 this with the rest of his team. The poke from Super hurts like hell. True Shot Barrage dodged away from 7k. Look at it go down as Noah continues to poke out. The Weaver's Wall zones them out. And at 3k, 1500, Smite's still enough. Mirwin zones them off. He's in deep, but GIANTX are backing off. They still can't take the fight. And Koi, no. They're in with a big chance in this game again.
A fight that was forced by GIANTX turns awry as Koi are able to hold the line and secure the Baron as well. We talked about how that 3k gold deficit was not insurmountable, and just like that, it has disappeared.
And I want to paraphrase one of our favorite co-streamers. If you throw enough fish at a tree, eventually one of those fish will climb it. And that's what we're seeing here. Koi have really thrown themselves at the wall many, many times, and they're starting to climb that tree.
Quite the adage, Hysterics.
It was the dumbest quote I've seen. No offense.
Paints quite the picture.
It was so silly.
But it really
true.
emphasizes the point that Koi have done a good job to bounce back now with the Soul, with the Baron. They set their sights on the Nexus, well, the inhibitor towers, I should say, of GIANTX's base.
It could be if they open up mid. I mean, Jackie's is looking for a flank, but he's found on a control ward. Koi are still using Super's poke, and Vedius, the scaling of this Corki, doing a lot of work in these fights. We're going to have to get the damage numbers after this game, as he's got an Infinity Edge now. He's full build, but that control ward slot. As Mirwan's dealing with top, bot doesn't seem to be pushing in, but a wave to look at for Koi. And they're just waiting to use this Baron on the next one, channeling in.
I mean, a lot of credit needs to go to Super and Alvaro for so much of the success in these fights. Jojo has been utilizing his wall incredibly well, and
like that.
Another great demonstration on our screen. The Unraveled Earth doing some serious work to make it harder for Jackies to play as well. And Koi keeping the flanks warded in case of any potential deep TPs that could give access for the Sakali to attack the back line. 1 tower force, 2 tower falls, 1 inhibitor, another soon to follow. The Elder going to be spawning in a minute and a half. I wonder if Koi want to keep this pressure up.
Thinking about it. Super's run out of rockets though. Next minion wave coming in. Cannon's going to start doing work to the Nexus turrets. On the edge sits El Yoya, thinking about his own target as Lot just wants Super to run into him, but he never gives him that opportunity. Baron minions are getting cleared, but Jojo has now escorted another wave in through bot with the rest of Baron. And engage a defensive one from GIANTX is their last hold as Alvaro blocks a true shot barrage again. The Winter's bite concussive blows. It works in the end. He gets a shutdown, but you see Mirwan is having none of it. Now on to closer. The Koi continues swimming upstream. While Lot, he will be slowed, he will be stunned, he will be blasted, and he will be forgotten. 4 members running now through mid with 1 Nexus turret left remaining. And the Koi keeps on going. It's got a strong tail fin and one hell of a dive. GIANTX are dealing with Mirwan, but he flashes. And Bessa, almost. But look at bot. Close is about to die. Jun's about to die. Koi still gets it done. And in a thrilling conclusion, take down the undefeated GX.
An impressive bounce back from Koi. They played out the game incredibly well.